morning, guys. How you doing? Today is Wednesday, May 22nd. Oh, have you guys been stressing? Okay, well, today you're most likely going to get to express yourself or express yourself in a way that creates peace. Okay, whether this is verbal, physical, whether you do this by showing somebody actions, it's most likely something to do with home or power and stability or grounding. Okay, so some of you guys might have been feeling like you're run over by a truck, probably hyper-tensed. Some of you guys got to do a little bit of purging with the Scorpio full moon. Some of you guys did a lot of purging, but nevertheless, we've got a lot of outer transits making moves, and the side effects are leaving us all feel like we all got run over by a truck, basically. Even me, like Saturday, all I did was, what did I do? I washed the truck and I scrubbed something else down, but like, it's Wednesday and I'm still sore and tight, and I'm like, well, what the hell? I've been massaging like all my muscles, I've been really stiff, and I've had to be really conscious about being hyper tensed up and consciously having to go, okay, I need to drop the shoulders and just drop the eyebrows, drop the forehead frown kind of deal here. So what else do we have? Oh, Mars and Cancer is sextiling Uranus and Taurus. Okay, so we're going to be making attempts to feel established in some kind of way, or taking some kind of action to establish emotional security through changes to the home and family. And this can work with your business or your job as well, because of the Taurus factor. What do we got? Mars and Cancer, that's like go mom. There's a lot of actions for the Cancers. Cancers are now beginning to move forward on a couple of things. And the Uranus and Taurus is sudden change. Okay, sudden change in fortune, sudden change in security, sudden change in finances, sudden change in power, sudden change in comforts. Taurus is also home and family, so there could be sudden changes in regards to your children, sudden contracts, all kinds of stuff going on. But for the most part, this should be a very peaceful day. You guys might be getting to the point where you're leveling out in your emotions. Things seem to feel like they're stabilizing in terms of your personal self or whatever it is that's going on around you, because there's an enormous amount of pressure. Anyways, I've already shuffled these. As I do every morning, I shuffle everything 3 times. I'm going to do one more just for posterity. All right, let's see. What is the energy story for the day, please? They are willing to speak. Okay, this one calls for a card there, so we will leave that on top of there for now. I'm not even going to look at it. Okay, 7 of Swords, this way, reversed. This story attached to this story. Some feelings attached to that. And then, of course, this is a mystery, but actually we'll leave that as a mystery. Okay, first card, 7 of Swords, reversed. Okay, so there's a possibility that you've been stressing out, trying to wrap your head around something. A lot of us have been freaking out in finances. A lot of us have been approached with offers. For some of you guys, this offer is going to be real. For others, it's going to be bullshit. Okay, always be wary of deception. Right now, we've got, I can't remember exactly what it was. I might have put it in the reading, but we have a transit going on that's breeding deception. So you're going to get all kinds of people like hackers and scammers, you know, calling you and telling you that your warranty for your car is up when you haven't owned a car in like 5 years, that kind of bullshit. I noticed this morning, I saw that people have been hacking, and you know, that's when you get a friend request on Facebook and that person is already your friend. They didn't tell you anything about losing their password or any kind of weird shit happening, but there it is, they're friending you again. It's lies. It's bullshit. And then for a majority of you guys, the veil has lifted. There are no more illusions. There's a lot that you've realized about yourself. There's a lot that you've realized about your situation, about your partner, about your job, about everything around you. Where you used to see things in one particular way, this purge working in conjunction with the conjunctions, the Pluto and Saturn retrograde conjunctions in Capricorn I'm specifically speaking about, has been helping to lift the veil. Okay, no more fooling ourselves, no more lying to ourselves. Everything is not as it appeared to be. Okay, last week you might have been feeling one way, and then as the week went by, your mind got blown. And there were some things that you might have realized about yourself, about your partner. And this is all in regards to personal internal boundaries, guidelines that we've set ourselves to. It's basically been set on automatic. It's not something we said, like, I'm going to do this every time this happens. We don't say that. We don't set those rules and boundaries that way. What happens is we go through life and watching our parents, learning what they do through experience, making automatic judgments without even talking about it, like assuming that you're supposed to get married and live with your partner and have kids, white picket fence, go to college, all that kind of bullshit. That is not necessarily so, okay? That is a story that we figured out from what was around us. But, you got to remember, your parents didn't have the tools either. So there's been a lot of forgiving of the self, recognition of the self and how we hold ourselves back and blame other people. They are, in fact, they have a share in the responsibility, but the responsibility is not all theirs, okay? Because on your part, you assume something unconsciously, okay? And as you know, assume is making an ass out of you and me. Okay, so now we're righting the wrongs. All the things we assumed, all those boundaries we formed through experience or through societal or parental expectations, it's now become clear that all these things are not one size fits all. Okay, so we see reality as it is, where we've held ourselves back. And this is huge. I mean, the veil has already... I feel like the veil's been thin between the the 3D and the 4D, and we're already on our way to the 5D, but there were things, additional work that we had to do on ourselves. Now, there could be those that well, the fact that this is reversed, I'm not dealing, apparently this message is for the people who are recognizing that part of themselves. Now, there are going to be others, though, who are delusional, who live in this... frou-frou world. They just can't see it, the reality of things. They just can't accept their responsibility in their reality. Okay, so a lot of us are no longer lying to ourselves. Okay, no longer disillusioned. Things are being seen very clearly, and there's this authentic expression, and it's a relief. It's a big relief. Okay, Prince of Swords and Prince of Cups. This feels like the DM energy, of course, because we got two princes. Princes are immature energies, and swords is thoughts, intelligence, and thinking. Cups is love, emotions, and heartfelt. So these two together, it's basically... this feels bipolar, like on the outside... things may be a little distance between you and your loved one or you and your partner, right now. Everybody's going through a lot, The veil being lifted was very heavy to lift those veils. That veil wasn't light by no means. It was very dark and very heavy. So all of us are kind of left. I just heard blowback or blow by. It's kind of like we're reeling in the effects of the aftermath of this discovery about ourselves. And it's taken a lot of energy. Now, you could be in a love relationship with somebody and wondering why you're not feeling very sexual. That's because there's so much mental thoughts going on. And with the outer planets doing all these transits, we're feeling kind of beat up. So it may be like, honey, I love you. and then roll over and go to bed. You know, they love you. They have intense feelings for you, but they're kind of beat down right now, mentally and physically. So, you know, if you're wanting to get a little bit, start slow. Everybody's feeling kind of beat. Okay, so this Prince of Swords is, they're both communication though, so they could be, you know, oh, honey, I love you very much, but I'm just so tired. And that's the end of it. Kind of deal, not wanting to say much, not wanting to do much. It's a bipolar feeling. Yeah, you want to jump on them, rip their clothes off and rape them, but at the other point, you're kind of like, you're trying to distance yourself from that intense magnetism because you feel like crap. Deja vu. I feel like shit. Deja vu. Yes, the suicidal tendency song popped into my head. That's pretty much it. I feel like shit. Deja vu. It's not the first time I felt this way, but you've got love. There's intense magnetism here with your partner, so you guys may both be telling, honey, I love you, you know, and you're like, you know, I don't know, lift your shirt up or pull your pants down and give your lover a flash, and they're like, oh, that was beautiful, but I'm so tired, kind of deal. So this communication is, oh, I love you so much, I want to dump your bones, but I'm beat. I'm totally beat in multiple ways. So don't worry if they appear too distant or if they're not communicating with you a lot. It's just attempts to communicate or give you loving attention is hard to come by right now because of lack of energy. Okay, we're all feeling pretty beat down. Forgive them and move on. Okay, because you guys went through some heavy shit, and you're gonna come upon a time where you won't be able to keep your hands off of each other. Yeah, here it is. The Hermit, King of Wands, and Three of Pentacles. There's some serious heavy work done, internal reflection, self-mastery, and this feels like one person, or actually both people, because we all have divine feminine and divine male energy in us. Okay, we've been kind of hibernating, keeping to ourselves, not only because of the lack of energy. We're attempting to get a lot of things done around the house. There's just so much to do, and it's really, really frustrating in terms of obligations, physical obligations in terms of labor, and monetary obligations around the home. Okay, there's been whoever's working on the divine male energy, like I was saying, doesn't have to be the divine male, it can be the divine feminine working on this part of her divine male energy, because we are both male and female energy. Okay, but what is being highlighted right now is frustration in terms of having to do all the work or shoulder all the responsibility in terms of labor, errands, and financial. So somebody could be thinking about the ways they're emotionally tied to their money and how they get angry. And the cause of that anger is being scared. Like I was saying, it has to do with what you learned when you were young. When your parents didn't have money, you know, you can hear the classic fight. You're in your bedroom trying to go to bed. They've already put you to sleep, and you can hear them downstairs fighting. That kind of deal, you know. So you grab your teddy bear and you roll over and you go to sleep. And things like that was normal at that time, or it appeared to be normal, or you formed this idea that that's how it's supposed to be, and that is not how it's supposed to be. That is just what it appeared that it was supposed to be. Okay, so there could have been fights in the household, or some of you guys could be thinking about when they would have the fights, the father screaming that he doesn't have enough money and she needs to stop spending and all that, and the wife screaming, I do everything around here, I only use that money to keep the household going, how dare you yell at me, I'm the one that keep things together, you know. And they're screaming the same thing, coming from two different places, but screaming about the same thing. Okay, they're both worried, they're both scared. Okay, so you may be replaying these things in your mind and releasing that was them. I am not my parents. My dad used to get so angry thinking that he was shouldering all the financial responsibilities. My mother used to get so angry that she felt like she was the one always doing all the work around the home. So you see how the division of labor divided us through experience and through the societal expectations, you know. Honestly, both of you guys need to be in the kitchen. Honestly, both of you guys need to be taking care of the monetary situation. But what we're seeing right now is we're seeing people trying to replay the old days where one person takes care of the home and the other person takes care of the finances. And there is nothing wrong with tradition as long as it works for both people. Now, if you're trying to force somebody into the role of the laborer, you know, you stay home and you clean, you're the one that does this, and it's like by default, okay? This is almost like lying by default too, to where you're not lying to them, but it's like lying by omitting, okay? If you're not gonna walk your happy ass in the kitchen and wash your dishes yourself or make food for yourself, why are you expecting the other person to do it if you're not willing to do it? So what happens is it was left. Nothing was clean. The male didn't clean anything because they expected the female to do it. So the female doesn't buy anything because they expect the male to do it. And really, both of you guys should be working together. And this was unspoken. This is not something that was discussed. It was set. These expectations were set by society. You belong in the kitchen. You belong at work paying for everything. Well, you know, I disagree. And traditional is okay, you know. Granted, I am the one who's cleaning everything and fulfilling that role, and I don't like it. I don't appreciate that people not making an effort and expecting me to do things that they would not do. And, you know, the same vice versa. I'm sure the partner does not appreciate having to be the one to field all the bills. But, you know, if you don't lift a finger and start trying to penetrate that world in some kind of way, then things will always remain, you know, they're here doing this and they're here doing this. The division of chores. This should be shared. Okay? If one person can only do this for a while, then that's fine. This one picks up the slack. Okay? But you can't get angry at this person for doing all that they can do because that's all that they have to offer. And that works vice versa. You know? Same deal. Don't get mad at somebody if they're not bringing exactly what you have to the table, because it, you know, you have the apple, they have the orange. If you want another apple, well, you still got to buy a fucking orange. So what, really? Why are you grumbling for? So you have more of this and none of this. Okay, so it's a fine balance. You have to look at the energy, because yes, everybody, the world is about money, but you know, there's abundance around us. So really, this is about equal energy exchange. So what if I brought an apple to the table? You didn't have an apple before you met me. You know, you want me to go? Then here, take your orange, shove it up your ass, and then figure out your own apple. I'm going to take my apple over here, and what will happen is all of a sudden I'll be attracting people that have oranges. Okay, so, you know, it's about acceptance of the energy that is being invested in the relationship. Okay, because as long as it's energy, it's equal. Doesn't matter if it's time, attention, money, love, focus, whatever it is, they're putting in. So we're getting to the point where there's an equal exchange of energy, and we're taking a look at our past, what we've seen, knowing and realizing, because the veil's been lifted, that this shit didn't work. Okay, what it did was divide us. It did. It divided us as we watched our parents be divided on these things. Okay, we saw miserable people, one that had the full responsibility of this and didn't get a break to, maybe they didn't want to be the one to work all the time, you know, maybe this week maybe they wanted to be the one to clean the house. So, you know, sometimes cleaning can have a meditating, grounding effect, and it's not fair to label, stereotype, and stick somebody with something the entire time, especially when they don't want to be there. They don't want to be in that role. Okay, what that does is chain and prison people. So we're realizing and taking a look at the chains and prisons of our past and how they've affected us, and how we're bringing this excuse me, I just spit everywhere, how we're bringing this into the present in our relationships. Okay, and it's something that we're going to have to deal with. Okay, I personally, I love my mom very much, although we did not get along when I was younger because she had this expectation of me. She wanted me to fulfill a role that I did not believe was my role. Okay, so, I mean, a lot of you are the same way, and I forgot where I was going with this, but I always feel like I was berated for not living up to her expectations, when really, I didn't have to. Okay, I didn't have to. It was what I expected of myself, what I wanted to be and who I wanted to be. I did not want to be her. I did not want to live my life like her. I did not want to repeat my life like her. But when you have children, you don't want them to repeat your mistakes. And then if you fight with your parents, you always promise yourself, I'm never going to be like my mom. I'm never going to be like my dad. I'm never going to do that to my kids, which is great if you recognize the things that made you feel bad and do not. That's a tool, being able to recognize the things that made you feel bad and then consciously choosing not to repeat those things with your children. Okay, you opted out of that paradigm. So this is where we begin to get true freedom and start authentically expressing ourselves instead of carrying these traditions and these forced expectations and stereotypes that were put upon us. Nobody chose this. We're a slave to society, you know. They chose this roles for us, okay? And a lot of our parents who were stuck in that role also because their parents didn't have tools either, they may be really judgmental that we didn't want to suffer like they did, okay? Because they thought they had to suffer. But then again, they didn't really know any better. Okay, they didn't really have the choice. They didn't have the tools. They just accepted that they were in prison and kept going and worked until they died, miserable and unhappy, you know. Although there's a lot of people that were happy in their roles, this is not a one-size-fit-all, and I keep stressing that, 2222. Okay, a lot of people were not happy with the traditional roles that we are expected to fulfill and slide into. I don't blame you. You know, you're basically saying that's not me. This is what I want to do. Okay, if I gotta, take care of the house 75% of the time, that's fine. As long as I have a little bit of freedom and flexibility to where I'm not coming home and some asshole is telling me I need to get in the kitchen and clean the house. No, bro, fuck you. You clean it. I'm taking today off, and you can make your own dinner, kind of deal. See what I'm saying? I mean. And then we have, if you tired and you choose not to do something, if you choose not to go by the, you're responsible for this, I don't feel like cleaning the kitchen today. Well, nobody needs to get upset, but then again, somebody else could step in and do it for you and alleviate you of that rather than it piling on and still waiting for you the next day, which means you truly didn't get any kind of break. Okay, so every once in a while, you need to change up the roles with your partner or in your relationship, okay? Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Do what you need to get done, but be conscious here that of not falling back into those roles we've seen played out in society and through our parents when we were children. Okay, that's just not, it's not very satisfying. You need to choose what fulfills you. Okay, Four of Cups, self-love, reevaluating what you want in love. This includes self-love, doing things authentically that truly comes from the heart because it's what you want to do and you're not being made or expected to do or to fulfill. Okay, 8 of Wands, 21, and Death. Yeah, you're going to see the signs. Things are beginning to come together, okay? Sign of the times. Things are changing for the better. We are moving towards individual happiness and the pursuit of a real pursuit of happiness, okay? You're going to be guided. As soon as you realize that you need to release these things and that you have been holding to these internal boundaries, unconscious motivations, you're going to be seeing some signs. Now, the synchronicities will be picking up. Eight of Wands can be travel, too. This is swift travel, quick travel. And I think you're in Gemini energy, so this could also be short trips. A lot of traveling back and forth, a lot of communication. So you guys are getting some downloads. Look at that, the rainbow colors here. The Rainbow Tribe is getting their electric from the skies, from the clouds in the sky, from the rainbow in the sky. Right now we are getting energy from the sun. What is today, the 22nd? I'm already feeling it. Yesterday, basically the tinnitus and the tones were screaming in my ear. They were so loud. I put on my headphones and I had to turn my headphones all the way up because my left ear was like, it was beep, and I'm like, damn. It was probably the loudest I have ever heard it. And in addition, when I get the energy downloads, which is basically upgrading the DNA, okay, we're moving more towards crystalline, meaning we're going back to our natural state of divinity, of crystal beings, making us a better antenna so we can pick up more things, more information, so we can receive more information, okay? So you could have been like having a headache or head pressure or feeling pressure in the ears. I went to bed early last night because not only was the tone screaming in my ear, but they were squeezing my head and squeezing my ears, and I didn't have any ibuprofen left, so I went to bed before I got a headache. And the bitters were so strong. I've never had bitters this strong before. If you guys don't know what bitters is, it's nausea. It's the liquid that's inside your cheeks, usually like right before you throw up. Like this hot, bitter liquid comes out of your cheeks. That's what I call the bitters. I always get bitters when I get downloads. And last night it was like, wow. It was crazy strong. The tones in my ear were crazy loud. Okay, so you're going to see things speeding up. This is like a quickening. Events are going to start happening. They're going to come together suddenly. Okay, like things could happen today because we have Mars and Cancer sextiling Uranus and Taurus. And Mars and Uranus, let's see, they're outer, well, Uranus is an outer planet. Mars is a little bit closer. It's about in the middle, or right before the middle. So I think that's about, what, 2 to 3 weeks? Is it 2 to 3 weeks? Or maybe about just under a month where Mars will be, where it transits through Cancer. So as Mars in Cancer sextiles Uranus and Taurus, it's going to be, I'd say about maybe 4 to 5 days, I think. 45 days extending out and 45 days extending after. This is just my estimation, where you're going to feel that push to establish yourself somehow. Okay, but in the meantime, you're going to have this series of successive events with Uranus and Taurus in the mix. Expect the unexpected. There can be a sudden blowout where you're fighting with the parents in your home. There can be sudden fame while you're at home. I don't know. Maybe you accidentally get locked out of your house, and then somebody drives by and they happen to be live on Facebook, and there you are, naked in your yard, trying to break in your window. Just saying. You could be traveling to see a nurturer. You could be discussing conflicts with the parents in the home, and then all of a sudden there's this opportunity to make changes, or this opportunity to tell your story on the news, or somebody asks you to be a co-host to come tell your story. And it's about a new kind of comfort. These are things that we haven't talked to before. Now we're opening up. The veil has been lifted. So now we can express these things about our early emotional security, the dark secrets that we just don't talk about, okay? It's the end to holding things back. Scorpio card is death, okay? For some of you guys, there could have been somebody who is passing away, who passed away, or somebody who's in the process of dying, and this may have brought you to the end of your rope. You're so stressed, you're under so much pressure, you don't know what to do, and then all of a sudden something happens. They take that trip on the Rainbow Bridge and everything falls into place. Okay, I said it before, I'll say it again. I also seen it as a meme on Facebook. Sometimes things have to fall apart in order for them to fall together. What was this one? Oh, reversed. Ace of Cups reversed. Yeah, a lot of us have not been being good to ourselves, okay? Take it easy. Give yourself a break. There were some things you didn't know because you didn't recognize it. Okay, we got 2. So a lot of us have discovered that we've been doing what society and our parents expected of us and that we didn't love ourselves. Ace of Cups reversed, y'all. Yeah, so a lot of you have also realized that you haven't forgiven yourself for your past trespasses, and that's why you've been unhappy and staying in that energy, because you've never been able to get over forgiving the self. You're stuck in, oh my God, I was such a horrible person, and you go into the spin, and you're like, wait a minute, you know what? I'm not them anymore. That's not me. Those people don't exist. This relation doesn't exist. That was done a long time ago. All that's left is this energy and this feeling and this thinking in my heart and in my mind. Okay, so the Scorpio, full moon Scorpio helped you to purge that and see where you weren't happy, and it's because you weren't loving yourself. You've never forgiven yourself for the things you've done wrong in the past, okay? You're not that person anymore. So, aho nui. Have patience with yourself. Appreciate that you're alive. Have reverence for this beautiful life that you've been allowed to have, okay? And shift your perspective. We're already doing that. This is a forced perspective shift, okay? So, what was the first card? Patience. Aho nui, patience, great breath. My intention is to be patient, peaceful, and tolerant, and to breathe deeply, allowing all things to unfold one moment at a time. Patience is the ability to stay calm and balanced even when obstacles and adversities challenge your path. Patience is an attribute that comes hand in hand with breathing deeply and allowing things to unfold as they will. Patience requires that you remain peaceful and present, and that you trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way. Ike, to see, know, and feel. Perspective. This is a new attitude. I just heard, I've got a new attitude in my head. Thank you, Miss LaBelle. My intention is to consciously cultivate thoughts that support, nurture, and inspire me to choose the point of view that has the most positive effect on my life. Your thoughts belong completely to you. No one else has domain over what you choose to think. Your thoughts and how you interpret the world has a direct impact on your feelings, your vibration, your choices, and your life experiences, okay? It affects all of those. By consciously choosing thoughts that are inspiring, supportive, and nurturing, you will cultivate feelings and attract experiences that have a positive effect on your life. Ano, reverence, it's an 11. Okay, by clearing these things out, your manifestation portal has removed yet another block, a huge one. That was you. That is basically you. My intention is to allow myself to live in reverence and awe, and to recognize the miraculous creation that I am and that I am part of. Excuse me. Reverence is a state of being that can permanently liberate you from mediocrity. There is nothing mediocre about life. Our small planet hangs in perfect balance in a galaxy within a universe that is believed to be over 13 billion years old. This means that it took 13 billion years to create an environment that could host you and your loved ones. Reverence invites you into a state of awe, discovery, and appreciation for yourself and the world around you. Yeah, that speaks directly to self-love, appreciating who you are for exactly who you are and not what people expected you to be. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Love you. Take care.